Happy holidays to everyone. It's been a marvelous year, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but overall, we're here today. If you click this video, that means you're alive, so you have something to be thankful for. I want to say happy holidays to everyone, give some affirmations, some positivity, and also give some updates I got coming along here with the channel. So recently we passed 1,800 subs, so I appreciate everyone who shared, like, comment, etc. has been here along with the journey. It's been a great journey. I started my channel a little over a year ago, and I plan on upgrading. I'm going to get a new camera, new equipment, all that type of stuff. So I got a lot of things coming for 2026, so make sure you stay tuned. Now, the reason why I say happy holiday as opposed to pointing out one particular holiday is because I understand I have people who watch me from different parts of the world who have different belief systems, so I don't want to just highlight one holiday. So I say happy holiday to acknowledge all holidays and to acknowledge all belief systems. With that being said, I have been doing affirmations lately and I see a change in my life. I'm more happy, I'm more like up to speed, my energy level is higher, etc. Just by doing 10 affirmations a day. So every day I wake up, the first thing I do is I say I'm thankful for another day, but then I give myself 10 affirmations. So I try not to use the same ones every time. Sometimes there is a little bit of a repeat, a little bit of layover, but it's good because you can be very happy about something, right? So I may say something like, I'm grateful I have both parents in my life. I'm grateful I got my own apartment. I'm grateful I have my own car. I'm grateful I woke up today. I'm grateful all the locations I'm traveled to. I'm grateful that, I got this beautiful YouTube audience, right? I'm grateful that I have the technology I have. I'm grateful I was born in this era rather than 1,000 years ago. So I just say 10 affirmations and I notice that brightens up my whole day. And what it does is I'm channeling that positivity, those affirmations, and it makes you happier. And people are going to notice that. The little things we do in life can make big differences. And the more little things you're doing, the bigger the differences. Let me give you an example. There's certain music that I won't listen to, especially for an extended period of time, because it highlights certain things that I could say are negativity. So if I'm not listening to certain music, if I'm not listening to certain movies, if I'm practicing affirmations, if I'm thinking more positive, if I got more positive people around me, if I'm showing everybody respect, if I'm eating clean, if I'm working out, if I'm drinking water every day, I don't drink soda, I don't drink milk right now, I don't drink whatever they drink, seltzer, and I'm only drinking water, it's going to show in my skin, it's going to show in my energy level. When people are around me, they're going to be able to detect that. I have noticed personally, and I would encourage everyone to incorporate this in their lifestyle, I have noticed personally when I do certain things, as the examples I mentioned, I draw not only more people into my life, but I draw a higher quality of people in my life. Now, if you think back when you were young, maybe 10, 15 years old, your brain wasn't fully developed, so you maybe did things that were less than ideal and you didn't understand. But now that you're an adult and you look back, you'd be like, oh, okay. Now that I changed the way that I'm thinking, I'm changing the way people are thinking about me, right? Your frequency is what you frequently see. If you change your frequency, you can change your frequency. What I mean by that is change the way you think, eat, sleep, read, etc., and your whole life is going to be changing. I'm here to tell you, I can give you countless examples of just small modifications I made, whether it was playing chess for 15 minutes a day, whether it was studying a foreign language, whether it was reading, whether it's making sure I go to sleep at the same time every day, because our bodies are creatures of habit. So if we create positive habits such as sleeping and waking up around the same time, you may not even need an alarm clock. Or because you're sleeping at a higher quality, you need less hours of sleep. So less hours of sleep is more hours in the day you can be productive. More hours of production in the day leads to greater ways to make money, more time to make money, more time to spend with our loved ones. And that more time, that more freedom can go into productivity and give you a higher quality of life. It's all a circle, right? So when people don't want to make the small changes, such as drinking water, you're going to see negative situations appear. But if you just do the little things, I promise you your life is going to change. You could go to the gym. You may not even afford a gym membership right now. You could go make a home gym in your house, just doing 30 push-ups, 20 sit-ups a day, doing some stretches, some yoga, practicing like you're curling, doing dips off the table or dips off the chair. Don't break the equipment now, but you get what I'm saying. You can just do a small 10, 15, 20-minute mini workout before you eventually get to the gym membership, a couple months later, a couple weeks later. And that is going to make change. Your posture is going to be better. People are going to view you better. You're going to stand up more upright. You're going to have more confidence. I'm giving you real life examples that I noticed in my life, and then you can incorporate these. So why am I saying all this? I say all this to say this. Listen, I believe in the power of positive thinking. I believe in the power of positivity. I've seen changes in my life, and I want changes for your life. So yes, I make travel content. I make content about relocating, finding a better quality of life, etc. It's not about just physically moving. Sometimes you got to mentally move. You got to mentally put yourself in that position to have possession. So I'm trying to give you guys the game right now of things that I've learned, things that I've incorporated, etc. So you can change your life. Because a lot of y'all DM me on Instagram, leave comments under here, or when I had a Discord group, you would ask me questions in the Discord. How do I do this? How can I change my life? How do I make more money? How do you afford this? Blah, blah, blah. If you notice in my videos, yeah, I'm making travel videos, but I'm also dropping information, dropping gems. And you can pick up on these breadcrumbs and make your own bread. 2026 will be here very shortly, a few days. I'm going to give you my expected itinerary at this moment. Things are subject to change, but as of right now, we are looking at permanently leaving the United States. Now, we'll come back occasionally for certain financial opportunities. Like, let's say there's a situation where, in the States, there's a housing market crash, and I can make an opportunity where I can get a house for cheap and then rent that out, and then, eventually be able to help different family members or something as far as them trying to get residency in the States. Something like that, like a financial or political move, that can make sense. You might come back to the States for a couple days, couple weeks, couple months. And then outside of that, it'll be visiting family members. So obviously I still have parents, etc., still in the States. So I'm not just going to completely leave them. I'm going to visit every so often. So those will be like the two main reasons I would come back. But the idea as of right now is I have a car, I got a couple electronics, furniture, etc. I'm going to be selling these in 2026, and I plan on leaving the States permanently outside of visiting. Now, as far as the time frame, if it was up to me completely, honestly, I'd probably do it tomorrow. But there is a process to this, right? It's not just as simple as, and this is going to be a learning lesson for people who are interested in this type of lifestyle. So it's not just interest, it's not just buying a plane ticket and then tomorrow being over there, right? You could technically do that way, but you could get in trouble financially, legally, politically, etc. So I'm doing things the right way. I, right now, as we speak, am working on a long-term visa. I'm exploring Japan and Vietnam as far as the visa situations. Am I going to live in Vietnam or Japan for the rest of my life? Probably not. I'm just being straightforward with you. Probably not. But it is a good pit stop for now. Their visas are fairly easier to get for Americans. It's not too difficult, depending on which one you're getting, obviously. Residency and citizenship is a different story, especially when it comes to Japan. They're notorious for being harder to get a passport or residency or citizenship over there. But, they got digital visas, they got job visas, student visas, all type of stuff, right? So the idea is that I'll be in either Vietnam or Japan. More than likely, I'm aiming towards Vietnam. And then if I do Vietnam, more than likely it's going to be Ho Chi Minh. I am open to like Da Nang or some of the other cities, but more than likely it's going to be Ho Chi Minh if I did Vietnam. And I plan on going there. My lease ends at March 25th, I believe is when my lease ends. So sometime between then and the end of April is when I plan on being abroad in Vietnam. I may take a pit stop either in South Africa, Panama, or the Philippines, or even potentially Indonesia before, like a little 1 to 4 weeks before I go to Vietnam. But by the time I get to Vietnam, all the paperwork, visas, documents, whatever should be done. So I will be going there. It's like a 1-year visa. So I'll be there for the year, building up my YouTube channel, building up other streams of income, etc. In Vietnam, you can live comfortably. You know what's surprising is Japan is actually pretty cheap too. People think it's expensive. The food is kind of pricey, but everything else in Japan is fairly expensive. Like you can get an apartment for like 4 or 5, 600, depending on where you're at. Pardon me. Now, as far as Vietnam, obviously it's even cheaper. So you can live comfortably in Vietnam for like 800 to 1300 a month, and that's food, transportation, insurance, cell phone, rent, everything included. And that's all cities in Vietnam. Obviously, if you go to the smaller cities, it's going to be cheaper. But if you're somewhere like me in Ho Chi Minh, it's going to be more in that higher price range. So I'll be living there. Eventually sign a lease, all that type of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And be making content out there. I've already messaged a few people via Instagram and other platforms. And, we're talking about some networking, some opportunities, etc. So I got a few opportunities in the pipeline that I'm going to be working on, but I'm excited to give y'all this content. Like I said, I'm going to get a new mic, new camera. Already got the new laptop. It was like $1,500, but it's clear. I'm using it right now. I can actually screen record. Like on my other one, I couldn't screen record without crashing. So it's going to save me time on editing and things like that. Like before, I had to film with my camera, then upload it, and then bring it to CapCut, and then da-da-da-da-da. Here, I can just straight, boom, get straight to it, right? So I'm still going to give y'all high quality, even higher quality actually. But if I want to make a fast video like this just to get some information across, I can do it with ease, right? So I want to know, what type of content do you guys want to see when it comes to this travel space? I do have some rebranding. I'm going to do some different ideas I'm going to incorporate as far as, I do love the interviews, right? That's going to be one of the big parts I plan on doing, because if you see my content previously, I did a mix of content, but one thing I plan on doing more focus on and more double down on is the interviews, because every time I do an interview with someone, I get positive compliments like, hey, you should do a podcast, or hey, you got a lovely voice, or hey, you're a good person, you're an easy person to talk to, blah, 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 blah. I get compliments, so I'm like, okay, this is obviously what people want to see. Even when I did some of my videos before previously, some of them, I've made it like members only or whatever, but I got some good feedback on some of my interviews that I have, so I definitely want to incorporate that more. But yeah, leave a comment down below. Let me know what type of material I want to see as far as when I start traveling, etc. I'm going to double down on what's been working, but then also I want to stay open to new ideas. But for the holidays, man, make sure you say hi to your family, friends, etc. You don't know what they got going on. Be a positive role model in their life, and I hope you'll have a blessed day. Peace.